Hi, I'm Torrie Creamer, and I am a group fitness trainer for women here in Norfolk, Virginia. So I've lived here all my life, Norfolk, Virginia. Very athletic growing up. I played sports since I was 5 years old, softball, basketball, cheerleaded. And honestly, I wasn't always overweight. A lot of people find that shocking. I was not always overweight. I actually did some modeling in high school. Like I said, I was very athletic. So I did not gain weight until moving forward. I married my high school sweetheart and just got comfortable and had 3 children of my own. And yeah, just gained the weight from there. So it started to be where the attention was off of me and had to be focused on being a wife and a mother. So I let myself kind of fall between the cracks, and that's when the weight started to attach itself to me. So after having 3 big babies, I had babies that weighed over 8 pounds each. I never lost weight in between, and they're all 2 to 3 years apart. So I never had that time to really lose the weight that I gained from having the larger babies. When I had the aha moment was probably my 6-year-old son at the time. I was cooking dinner in our kitchen for the whole family, as I normally do, and he came up to me and said, "Mom, I have a question for you." And I asked him, I said, "Well, what is it?" while I was cooking, and he said, "Mom, I want to know, why are you so fat?" And at first, it shocked me that he said it, and I wanted to actually just turn around and say, "Excuse me, sir? What do you mean?" But when I turned around and I looked at him, he was coming from a serious spot. You know, his eyes were just staring right into me, and it looked like he was seriously asking me that question. He wasn't joking or anything like that, and so I'm not sure if he heard it somewhere. So when I looked at him, instead of getting upset at him for saying that, I had an epiphany. I actually saw myself through his eyes, and everything paused around, and I said, "Why am I fat?" There is no health reasons. I wasn't always fat growing up. I was very athletic. Why was I fat? That was the question that just stopped everything in the room. And so from that moment, I realized I let myself go. I stopped caring for myself the way that I used to. So I had so many unsuccessful attempts. I always thought about losing the weight. You know, every new year that came by, we jumped on the new year train of resolutions, and I joined plenty of gyms, but I lasted at the gym probably a good month. There was no attention that I was receiving directly, and I didn't have the money to afford a personal trainer. So what happened was my mom actually saw a Groupon for a local boot camp program, and I never heard of a boot camp program, but I said, "Wow, this sounds so interesting. What I will do is I will purchase this Groupon, and I will go to the classes for 4 weeks, and what I'll do is I'll learn from there, and I'll do it on my own." That's what I was going to save money and just do it on my own. So when I went to the boot camp program the first day, the ladies of the program were out on the sand running back and forth. Well, I wanted to actually run the opposite way because this was something that looked extremely hard, especially for myself weighing at the time 322 pounds. I was very insecure with going out there on the sand, and if anybody's ever walked the sand, you know how hard it is to even walk it, let alone run it. But the class stopped, and they saw me, and the young lady reached her hand out and said, "Hey, welcome, join us." And it was just such that moment of love that I really felt welcomed at the time. So I did. I walked out there on the sand and I gave it my all. And unfortunately, I fell in the sand and was so humiliated and so embarrassed. And I was like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to ever be able to come back. I'm so embarrassed. It took 3 of the trainers, 3 men trainers, to get me up. I felt like I was in quicksand, just not able to get up out of the sand. But everybody cheered me on until I got back on my feet. They said, dust yourself off and let's do it. We're going to do it together. And that was just this shock of, wait a minute, this is something different. I have to stay and see what it is about. So I continued every week, and I continued the following month after the first 4 weeks. And I started going regularly, and I couldn't run. I couldn't do push-ups. I couldn't do the things that the trainers and some of the girls in the class were doing, but that didn't stop me from doing my very best, because the girls made it so welcoming. The trainers made it so welcoming that you do your personal best. You don't do what everybody else is doing at their best. So I said, okay. And I continued, and it started, we had weigh-ins every week, and I weighed in the first time 5 pounds. Second time I weighed in, 5 more pounds. The next time, 5 more pounds. So it started to be an average of 5 pounds a week that I was losing. Now again, like I said, some people will get discouraged because you're unable to keep up with some of the other girls. But that's not the way that they made us feel at all at this program. So I felt truly like this is where I belong. So my self-care tip, I try to, I want it to not feel like a diet. I don't want it to feel like a chore, living healthy and losing weight or becoming stronger. Food is very, very important. A lot of people do the whole 80-20. I believe that food and fitness are just as important, 50-50, to make a whole. So what I have tried to learn and what I teach now is try to make what you eat as normal as possible. Food is there to be enjoyed. So I try to take recipes that I enjoy, and I try to make them healthier. Healthy food does not mean that you have to eat a salad every day. Healthy food does not mean that it needs to be boring. So I never meal prepped for myself. So I learned to meal prep for the family. Also, we are a middle-class family, so I'm always looking for deals. Sometimes if you're going on a diet for, say, the meals are a little bit more expensive, or the whole foods are more expensive. So I have learned ways to meal prep for the family, healthy, and also learn how to save money at the same time, so that this does not feel like a chore. Her turn means to me that it's exactly in the title. It's her turn. It's our turn to tell the story of us. Women are so important, and I think that sometimes we get overlooked, and we are just as strong, just as smart, just as independent as we were created to be. And we have to believe that about ourselves for us to be able to share that with others. Once you start feeling confident about yourself, and that's not just in your beauty, but in your health and in your fitness and in your life, once you feel confident, that confidence overflows and it attaches to other people just like Velcro, and it's amazing. I've seen so many lives change for the positive just because of the love that you start with yourself and you're able to share with others.